Man, all right. OG7 back here. Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. Where over here, I give it to you real and raw and tough as steel. So you, my friend, know the deal. From today forward, you can never, ever, ever say that you didn't know or nobody told you. Because Uncle OG's going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You can go anywhere else on YouTube for the lies. These motherfuckers hyping up prison niggas, all that in a bag of chips. But over here, I'm going to give it to you real and straight. So that way you can make an informed and educated decision to cease and desist your fucking foolish behavior or prepare yourself for what's waiting for you on the other side. So without further ado, let's get to the top of today's video, which is going to be a mind-bending experience because you're going to understand how you got these cats on YouTube talking about they was shot callers, they were putting in work, and they was running shit. Here's my take on it. The top of today's video is, if someone brags about being the man in maximum security prison, he was someone's bottom boy, pillar biting biatch, or someone's lady. Let's get this cracking, fellas.
916 and getting down fresh out. Prison talk. Yeah, man. We get a lot of questions about people who have these romantic views of prison. And then you have people who do time, get out and brag about prison like it was just a party up in there. It was just the best place to be, and they were doing burpees and push-ups and all this stuff.
Hey, so let me interrupt your boy Big Herc and put it to you like this. First of all, this is no shade on Big Herc. He did time in federal prison. I've heard different things about federal prison. People want to come on here and tell them their stories. I've never done time in the feds, but I personally know people in my family. My direct family did time in the feds and the state. They told me the difference. The feds is more like upscale prisoners, man, guys with the RICO Act, like power players, intellectual, let's say like chess playing motherfuckers. Hey, man, the state is just full of like a low-life, grimy motherfuckers, man, more like on an animalistic lizard brain level, carnal type dudes. Cro-Magnon type, Neanderthal type dudes, savage barbarians, bro. They don't think, they just react. A lot of more like alpha predators, man, apex predators. So I'm saying, if you hear a dude on YouTube and he's talking about, prison was cool, was kumbaya camp, man. We skipping through the days together. We smoking weed, man. We having parties, doing crystal meth, doing burpees and gambling and spreading and all that. And ain't no grape going on. I'm here to tell you, my friend, they wasn't in maximum security prison or super max, dude. Hey, man, when you go to maximum security prison, man, everything is serious. Why? Hey, man, 60 to 70% of them cats in there has got life, ain't never getting out. And lifers ain't got nothing to joke about, man, because everything's serious because they done fucked theirs off. And I want to tell you youngsters something, to you OGs, you midlife crisis dudes. Let me tell you something about finality. See, the problem with youngsters, man, you got your youth and vitality, man. Everything's a joke because you're a protected class. Your mama was there, you left, you're right. Papa was there when you left, you're right. Your grandparents there, you think you're a man, but you still got people paying your rent and going shopping for you and doing your laundry and cooking your food, motherfucker. You ain't out in the cold, cruel world out in the jungle, man. So you have a different view of life. You think everything's a joke and you're going to live forever because you don't have elements yet. But here's what happens when you get older and you've been out in the world, whether you started a business and failed, you had a job and got fired, dude, or you got a job and at the end of the fucking month, you got more months left than you got money and you got bills and responsibilities and the pressure of life. And then you're forced to live in different cities where you don't know nobody. You understand, man, the inhumanity of man. Hey, man, when you go to maximum security prison, ain't nothing funny, man. Dudes have lost their humanity. They ain't never getting out. And here's the thing about finality. Hey man, once you get past 40, you get past 40, you start realizing your youth is over, and you either had some people that died in your family or people in your family got sick and ailments, and you even notice your body's starting to decline, and you realize you're not going to live forever. And there's a seriousness that comes with understanding, dude. You're not going to be young forever. You're not going to be forever young. And then here's another thing, dude. Once you get somebody in your family that's got something like cancer or a really bad disease where they got like months left to live, the finality of knowing that this is your end date, like nobody knows when we're gonna die or check out, bro. But once you get the death penalty, dude, or you got life in prison without the possibility of parole, you see the finite end of your life is fucked off, and you'd be like the movie Juice. My life ain't shit, and I ain't gonna never be shit. And when I decide you ain't gonna be shit, I'm gonna take your bitch ass life. Now get down on your knees and suck my wee wee and make it big and hard and lube up your cheeks because I'm going deep up in you. Because I'm a demonic sodomite and I'm not even a human no more. So fuck you and spread your cheeks. There's a seriousness, man. So when you hear people bragging about this and that, there's no rape that happened and all that, just know they wasn't in maximum security prison. Let's let your boy continue.
And yeah, you do burpees, you do push-ups, you walk the track, you try to keep your mind right for the most part. But if you're celebrating prison like it's a rite of passage, or you're encouraging young men that prison is not a big deal, you're straight garbage, man. You're straight garbage because you're setting these young people up for failure and you're promoting a false narrative.
So one thing I want to say, man, even though I fell out with Big Herc, I still got respect for the dude because, hey, man, some people worship money, man, and I got to, I have to, I can't hate the dude for they hustle. He worships money. He'll sell his soul for money. I'm not there. That's why I quit making movies, man. I retired from corporate America, dude. Like anything where you start making, man, above, mid six figures, man, you got to sacrifice your morals, dude, and your values, man, for the almighty dollar. And every holy book says you can't serve two masters, so where you shall despise one and love the other. And money's not, man. Once you had a lot of money, you see it's not worth the fucking squeeze of the juice. So all I'm saying is he some of his stuff is really sound, man. I just want to say this to you, man. Like a lot of older cats, man, is into this gang lifestyle or drug dealing, man, or organized crime, dude, whether you're a mafioso, dude, or you're a Nuestra Familia, Mexican mafia, you're Italian mafia, Korean, Japanese, Russian mafia, the Black Guerrilla family, Crips, Bloods, whatever you are. Hey, man, it's one thing for you to be a young, ignorant dude and you doing it for survival. I got it because I watched the movie before I self-destruct. Little 12-year-old dude selling crack, 50 Cent's mom died and he had to kill people for money. I understand. But I just think, man, once you reach the age of cognizance, which most men is like 26 to 30, because you understand you're not a little boy no more, you're not a teenager no more. Sometimes it takes you about 5 years after you turn 20 to realize you're not a teenager, you're now into your 20s. And there's societal expectations of what you should be when you reach a certain age of maturity, right? So once you reach like 26 to 30, you were involved in this gang banging, drug dealing, prostitution, pimping and pandering, kidnapping and shit. Man, you got to take a good look in the mirror and say, number one, do you love yourself? No, this is a thing called self-love. Here's why. Hey, dude, when you're young, you have the ignorance of youth, man. It's okay. We can give you that excuse, even though they say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. I disagree. That's why I tell people to read and associate with heavy hitters, right? Heavy mental dudes. But, man, once you've been involved, I watched this movie last night called Cell Block 99, dude. And, it was I had a lot of mixed emotions because, dude, the dude got fired from his job, man, and he started running drug packages for one of his homies. And he was just going to do it for 6 months, which I can understand. I'm not encouraging it, guys. I'm just saying I can understand, like, If you down on your luck and you're trying to come up, just like what Big Herc and his homeboy, man, they was banging gay dudes, man, when the 2008 market crashed, and they was he lost his job, dude. I'm not gonna tell you his name. I'm not gonna tell you what job he had, but he lost his job. He had to move in with his mom, and his mom, you know how black moms are on you, like, you're gonna need to get a job up in here, motherfucker. So he started banging gay dudes for money, and he's not gay. He was even ashamed to tell me. So I can understand if you got to do some things that you disagree with because you find yourself in a bad spot and you just need to come up. Hey, man, I can say, man, you should have a plan. You should have like a 6 to 9 month plan of, okay, I'm going to do this, stack this money, stack this money, stack this money. Then once you stack the money, maybe you take half of it and you invest it into like a small business or something, dude. Like you can sell things online on eBay or Amazon. You could become an Amazon affiliate. There's different ways to make money now online. You just have to do your research. And now you got 9-month money run rate where you can pay your rent, your electricity, your insurance, your car note, and just, be serious about your business and then look to square up, look to clean up, have what's called an exit strategy. But when you watch this movie, Cell Block 99, dude, I recommend it to you. He told his old lady, I'm only going to do this for like 6 months, 9 months. He ended up doing it for 2 years, bro. And the deeper you go down that rabbit hole, man, you come to the point where you don't have self-love, dude. Because if you really love yourself, why are you going to put yourself in harm's way? This is yourself. This is your soul. This is your spirit. This is you, your very being, your very entity. You live in this, let's just say some people believe we're a planet. I don't know. I just know we're a self-contained organism. It's your brain, your spirit, and your soul, and then your physicality, right? Your egoid, your conscious, your self-conscious, all this encapsulated into you. So you got to have a conversation with yourself like this. Hey, man, if I really love myself, why am I going to keep putting myself in harm's way? Yeah, the money's good. The quick money's good. But it's like playing Russian roulette. How many times are you going to spin the chamber on the 38 and put it to your head, click, and then you got to pass on that one and spin and click? How many more times are you going to keep challenging fate, dude? Fate is a cruel taskmaster. So all I'm saying is a lot of these OGs, man, they didn't fuck theirs off because they kept being involved in gang banging and drug dealing and pimping and extorting and what's it called, man, sex trafficking and all this shit. And now there's this fucked off, and they see the younger generation coming up, and instead of like telling them, hey, man, you don't want to be like me, homie. And even if, they need the numbers and they say, okay, man, they don't give them an exit strategy. Why? Because they want you to fuck yours off. Like my favorite quote is from the movie Juice with Tupac. Even if you're a white dude or you're a Mexican dude or you're an Asian dude, watch the movie called Juice, and it shows you how friends, even your best friends, can turn you because absolute power corrupts. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. What happens is, man, this group of dudes was like just some square little dudes in school getting bullied and stuff, just trying to do the right thing. And then they got tired of it, and one of them gets a gun, man. And then he just starts robbing and shooting people, man. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Once you have the power of the heater, and you got away with one murder and then a second murder, I'm telling you, dude, it's addictive like tattoos. So the quote from the movie Juice is Tupac told his very good friends, hey, my life ain't shit, and I ain't never gonna be shit. And when I decide you ain't shit, I'll take your bitch ass life. And he killed, man, one of his homies, man. So let's finish with your boy, the prophet, Big Herc.
You're glorifying bullshit. And prison is bullshit. There's nothing in prison that I miss. Nothing. I don't miss the food. I don't miss the people. I don't miss the politics. I don't miss being away from my family. I don't miss showering with a bunch of men. I don't miss being told what to do. I don't miss being told when to get up, when to go eat. I don't miss none of that shit. And what was really disturbing was when the bus would arrive with new people and everybody would get excited. looking to see if one of their homies came, and when they homie hit the yard, oh man, the homie so and so's here, or the homie here, so and so, oh man, and I was just like, I was baffled, man. I didn't understand like why you would get excited to see somebody you knew on the street in prison with you. Like,
Because it's called Misery Loves Company, and then number two, bro, you got more numbers because look at maximum security prison. Like, Google this thing called Gulliver's Travels. So it's about this dude, let's say a dude like me, Gulliver, just a regular dude. And then he goes on this boat, man. His boat shipwrecks into this place called Lilliputian. And they got these little Lilliputians, these little, let's call them Smurf type motherfuckers. So, you know, if you see one little Smurf dude, you can kick him like a soccer ball. Get the fuck out of here, little dude. Even if he got a knife, you can bitch smack and slap him, right? But, man, if you got like 500 Smurfs on you, bro. So look at prison, maximum security prison, like the land of the Lilliputians, land of the Smurfs. And the more numbers, he or she who has the numbers rules. And I made a video about why Mexicans are the most feared in California prisons, bro. Because they got the numbers on me. When I was in prison back east, the blacks had the numbers. Down south, the blacks had the numbers. Up north, but man, on the west coast, there's a lot of Mexicans. I don't know if because the west coast is close to Mexico and they come over here and they get involved in gang banging and drug dealing and drug trafficking. But this is what I'm trying to say to piggyback on what Big Herc said. I didn't like the food in prison because it was disease infested and rotten and fucking just slop the way they cooked it, bro. They cooked all the nutrients, just goop. You couldn't tell the difference between meat and the vegetables and mashed potatoes. It was just goop. Then the bread was moldy and shit, bro. The milk was sour. The fruit was, you get fruit and it's like decayed and it's got black mold on it and shit, and it's squishy when you eat it. The peanut butter and jelly sandwiches was hard with mold and shit on there. And what else, man? This is it. And then the portions was small. And then the beds was in your cell. You got a cot. It's a metal cot, and you get a thin little mattress, man. You get one blanket and two sheets, and the pillow's got no air in it, bro. And dude, you can't control the air condition. There's no air conditioning, heating. The toilet's just a metal sink connected to the toilet, dude. And the most important thing is, I'm not gonna pick on any races, but there was a lot of races that came to a maximum security prison. They looked at it like they were staying in a 5-star hotel, whether they from impoverished countries or they were homeless or they living in these migrant worker camps, whatever it is. They was happy, man. They was dancing around and shit and just celebrating, having spreads, because in prison you could work and you make like 15 cents a day or 25 cents a day, and you can go buy soups and tuna and sardines, man, and chips and cookies and shit. And some dudes, it was an upgrade to their life. To me, it wasn't. And the fact that I'm going to tell you what I didn't like most about maximum security prison. There's two things that I didn't like. Number one, there was a lack of women in there, dude. Me, myself, I love female companionship. It makes me more human. As I had a lot of my homies told me, I spent too much time with savages, whether it's through playing sports all the time or lifting weights all the time or doing martial arts or combat sports or being in the military or just being around a bunch of killers, man. I have a very savage mindset, whereas women, man, teach me my humanity. And when you start having kids, you have to learn to be delicate with your kids. This is your offspring. So why you want to be fierce and scary to your offspring? You want to have them be in a nurturing, loving environment. So women and children, being around them make you more human, dude. And I love, busting nuts deep up in women's viscous innards, man. It just gives me a freedom, dude, where I just feel like I'm free to just be like, Oklahoma, Alabama. Oh, man, lady. You just make me feel like a real man, you see? In maximum security prison, you can't do that. You can bust nuts in lady boys and transvestites and homosexuals and gay dudes, but here's the problem. This is what they don't tell you on these other videos. When you bust nuts up in dudes, man, hey, man, most gay dudes ain't just a straight bottom dude, man. They want to bust nuts up in you too, man. Yeah, they like you digging them out, but they want to dig you out too, man. See, it's like tit for tat. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I ain't with that. And here's the part that really got me in maximum security prison. It wasn't the fighting and the killing, not even the food. It's the fact that, especially when I was doing the 23-1, man. Hey, man, it's actually where I was at. It was 20-4. You lock down for 20 hours, you out of your cell for 4 hours. And here's how they did it: you out of your cell 1 hour for breakfast, like they send you out of your cell for breakfast. Child release for breakfast, they give you your sack lunch. You out of your cell for dinner, that's an hour to get the dinner and back. You out of your cell for yard release, which is 1 hour. And then you out of your cell for shower release, which is 1 hour. You see a lot of dudes get the shit fucked out of their butts. And the shower's a lot of butt fucking in 1 hour. I didn't like the fact that the metal door didn't open until it was those specific times. That was the two things I didn't like about maximum security prison: the lack of women and the lack of my freedom to come and go. So if it was like the movie Escape from New York, where there's women in there and I can just do it, I really like the prison environment because I got to fuck up some fools. Motherfuckers think they hard. See, this is the whole thing, guys. I'm going to explain this to you. And I'm not picking on African Americans or Mexican dude or white dudes, trailer park, trailer trash white dudes. But I want to tell you something. There's a segment of society. There's motherfuckers like Ted Kennedy and Jocko Willingness, man, and then Bruce Wayne and these kind of cats, man. They're square rich dudes like the accountant. White dudes and Asian dudes is square. And even some black dudes, like when you watch the movie Luke Cage, they square, but they got weapons and martial arts training, and all they do, man, is practice fighting and running and shooting and hunting. They will fuck your bitch ass up with your fucking gangsterism, non-range going motherfucker, non-practicing the proper takedowns and flips and the fucking killing practices, not practicing your knife game or your sword game. You thinking you a gangster, you think you hard because you got a bunch of Lilliputians, Smurfs backing you up. I don't miss it. Let's continue.
How horrible is that? To know that not only you're doing time, but the homie that you enjoyed good times with on the street is also in prison doing time with you, and now you got somebody to do your time together with. It's just a crazy concept, man. The whole how they conditioned the prison population to buy into the concept of prison, it's insane to me. And people have bought into it. Guys in there doing the time, yeah, you made some mistakes, you're paying for your crime, whatever you did to disrupt society, quote unquote. But to get in there and then politic and play the convict game is even worse. It's different if you get in there, you utilize the time to better yourself, you learn about the law, you learn about yourself, why you did what you did, and the mistakes you made. And hopefully you can transition into a better person. You can kind of figure out, what moves you need.
So this one I want to share with you guys, man, you square dudes and you want to be gangsters. This is the difference between the feds and the state. If I understand, the feds have all these educational programs. You can get a college degree, dude. You can better yourself, man. You can get all kind of like psychological treatment and counseling, dude, to better yourself. The state ain't got nothing for you, man, but 3 fucking hots in the cot and dudes trying to take your butthole and trying to make you get a life sentence in prison, man. There's no rehabilitation in the state. I know that for a fact. So let's let your boy, the prophet, continue.
Need to make when you get out, so you don't have that same mind frame. And not to blur the moral aspects of prison, because there a lot of people say, well, the biggest drug dealers, the biggest gangsters out there is the government. And that may be true. And if you're doing it with a uniform on, you can get away with a lot more. But when you're doing it in civilian clothes, you're going to get your wig split. And that's not really what this discussion's about. because we all know that the real gangsters wear suits and they sit in high-rise buildings or in certain military installations. They're calling shots. But the other side of the game is what's considered the street level, and that's promoted because it's a money maker for those who invest in the prisons. And so, of course, being able to send videos home now, showing guys in there eating pizzas and, having cell phones and video games and, just doing their time. So, you're not really missing that much. And, we've had guys on here who've talked about, hooking up with the guards, in some of them prisons, especially in the state down south, man, they got guards up in there, females that are getting their cheeks busted on a regular. They in there, it's like a club. They in there hooking up with the ballers, they're doing their thing. It's wild up in there. So the time goes by and there's not a lot of emphasis put on change of self because you're just living for the moment. And you're still dealing with the politics because if you're making big moves in there, dudes are hating on you, they're watching you, and you got to be careful because people are setting you up. You still go to the hole. You can still get caught up because the female guard can say that, hey, you made a move on her and they can throw you in a hole, disciplining you. There's all kind of stuff. So you're still, you're still skating in a gray area. But the bottom line is that to glorify prison and what's even funnier is when, you got guys on the street trying to dress like they're in prison. Who wants to look like they came from prison? Who wants to wear khakis all the time with a whatever, prison jacket? They give you what is it, looking like a jean jacket or like a Dickie type jacket and you're walking around. Really? You want to look like you were in San Quentin or you were in Corcoran or you were in Lompoc? You want to look like you're a prison person? You're about as goofy as they come. You want people to immediately identify you with jail? I used to see guys working out in the gym, and I could tell by their workouts that they did time, even if they didn't dress like it. They would have on gloves, look like they came from Home Depot or Harbor Freight. They would be doing pull-ups in between each chest exercise or leg exercise, or they'd be doing a push-up, and then they would walk around the gym and they would look at the clock. These guys are on yard time. They working out like they on the yard. And that's a institutionalized thing. And some people don't know how to let that go, or it takes years for them to let that go, or they're not even conscious of it. It's just like a guy working out in the gym. I see his socks pulled up over his calf. And, I'm like, oh, dude was up in the pinta, or, he's working out in the gym and he's got on straight. I see dudes in there in straight jeans and a white T-shirt working out like he just came off the from the unit. And some dude.
That's called institutionalized, guys. And that's the problem, when you practice this recidivism, revolving door type of thing, bro, and you don't break away from your homies, dude, or your vatos or your people. It's just a revolving door. You watch the movie Shot Caller, man, or you watch the movie An Innocent Man, and it just shows how once you're in prison and you join a gang, dude, it's like you in for life, man, and it just disrupts your whole psyche, your whole mentality. That's why I always tell guys, man, try to parole to a different place. Try to move out of state or even out the fucking country if you can. Any opportunity to start fresh, you know what I mean?
That's what they work out in, jeans and a T-shirt or a button-up shirt because you never peel. In prison, and dudes who are really like that, they're not walking around in a tank top, no shirt on. They never take their shirt off. Most dudes who are super swole, I've seen dudes up in there benching 400, 500. You never seen them. You only seen them bench with a khaki on, and the khaki was like a 2 or 3X, so they was on swole. But they wouldn't walk around in no tank tops or nothing, so you could see. It's not that type, man. When I see these guys like, hey, man, look at my abs, man, look at my biceps. Oh, look at I'm like, man, I ain't never heard of a grown man that's anything about being a man asking another dude to look at his abs or look at his glutes or look at his hamstrings or man, you just know who you are. You don't need another man to validate that. And if a guy's bragging about that, he's really a scared little kid. If he's constantly talking about other men and this and that and bragging about what he's a scared little kid because a real lion, a real savage, he's never going to talk about what his stats are or how much he's benching or what he's working with on a curl bar or you'll see it, but he ain't got to declare it. And so yeah, the prison glorification thing, it's even hard for me to get. I know some hitters, some dudes, they don't have to come out here bragging about what they put in their booty hole as far as paperwork. These dudes were hitters. And I can't even really get them to come on here because they so humble, they don't want nobody to even know they did time. They're working regular jobs, they're living their life, and they're not bragging about, they don't care that anybody even knows what they went through. I know dudes who was in ADX. I know dudes who spent years in the hole, guys who, as soon as they hit the yard, they were breaking broomsticks off, making shanks, putting in work. I know some dudes who was basically doing gladiator fights where the guard would open up and see him get down with a couple dudes and bet on them. I know dudes who was involved in real shit like that, but I can't get them on the channel even though we partners because they don't want nobody to know this is the type of person they were in the Pinta because it might affect who how people look at them on the street, and that side of them they try to keep under wraps. People think because you talk a certain way or you act a certain way, a lot of people don't even know who they're talking to a lot of times. I know some dudes, man, one of my partners, and sometimes we go out and I'm seeing people and the way they act, and I'm like, dude, they don't even know. This dude can get a pen and put their lights out with an ink pen. This dude can break their elbow, can dislocate their shoulder, just like that, because he's bad and he's a monster and he's a beast in hand combat. But they don't know, and so the most dangerous man, a lot of times is the quietest person, and he's not braggadocious. He's not.
Yeah, so I'm in this video. I mean, he's got lot of good points, guys. I just want to say this, man, and I'm not going to call out any names of other YouTubers in the prison genre. But let me tell you like this, man. If you got any guy, man, who is bragging like he was the man in the maximum security prison, 9 times out of 10 he was somebody's bottom boy, pillar biting bitch, or somebody's lady, and he's doing that to overcompensate because, like Big Herc says, most of the heavy hitters, dude, they move in silence, man. When I met Big Herc, I was already on my way to retiring from IT, man. It was just, maybe it was God, dude, or the universe, whatever. I met Big Herc at the Pebble Beach Concourse. Look it up, Google it. Pebble Beach Concourse. Big Herc's a baller in real life. This motherfucker's a millionaire, man. He's about his paper. That's one thing I got to give it to him. So anyway, man, I was in my last 2 years of IT. I knew I was going to retire because I was just tired of talking about, good morning, golly gee willikers, and just playing this soft dude. Like I was playing this Clark Kent role when inside I'm Superman, dude. So, and if you guys follow my channel back before I met Big Herc, I used to wear a gorilla mask because, dude, I didn't want anybody in the office to know, especially when you're working with hot Barbies and hot girls and the politics and the woke feminism. If they known you've been to prison, dude, like I had to change my name to pass background checks so then I couldn't be on TV talking about prison shit because then they would know they have to fire me, right? So when I was first on YouTube, I wore this gorilla mask, right? But then I met Big Herc, man, and then I knew I was going to be retiring from IT. So I went on his channel, man, Fresh Out. And my channel just took off, man, because, I'm a lone wolf dude, and it's not that people don't believe you can go to maximum security prison and ride by yourself. So I have very different, interesting stories. But I want to end this note, man, that if someone is bragging about being the man in prison, he was someone's bottom boy, pillar biting biatch, and somebody's lady, and he's doing that to overcompensate for the fact that he was a biatch. because real savages don't want you to even know. And the only reason I'm on here giving you guys, man, my prison stories, I'm giving back to the youngsters, man, in the universe. I'm talking to my younger self. I wish somebody would have told me to control my anger, control my violence, not to solve everything with violence and guns and knives and hurting and maiming people and killing people, dude. That's not the way. And love is the way. So if you like the realness and rawness of the video, thumbs up the video, man. Leave a comment below on what you think about, these people on YouTube talking about they was a shot caller, they was putting in work, and they ran this car, ran that car, and they was running shit and hooping up their paperwork and all this bullshit, man. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification all bell, and share the video, man, so it gets out to the youngsters. Until next time, OG Silverback out.